Hey everybody, I'm on my walk. I took a little break on the rock and now I'm going to get back to the trail. So thank you so much for joining with me. I'm going to jump on this topic of liability and explain and dive into this a little more. So smash that like button. I totally appreciate it, and appreciate any comments or questions that you have in the responses. If you can put them in the comments, thank you so much. So essentially, I'm talking about liabilities, and I'm talking about how sometimes we think that we are making a good decision, and in fact, it's a negative liability type decision, and as a result, there may be additional liability and additional loss as a result of that one decision. So in short, I chose a man that I was going to marry, and he wasn't who he said he was. On paper and with the things that he furnished to me, it appeared as if he was a certain way, but in reality, he really was a different way. So, as a result, I had an idea of a person that he presented himself to be, and who he presented himself to me in my face, as a quote, loving, kind, generous person, okay? But in reality, behind my back, the things that I didn't see, the things that God did see, he was lying, he was stealing from me, he was vandalizing my vehicles, he was changing the security on my business computers so that my stuff was open to attack. Okay, he was stealing my bank and credit card information and then using that against me to open up additional accounts and use that against me. Okay, so what I'm getting at is, when you look at all of those variables, okay, a person that is lying to you, stealing from you, destroying your name and your reputation personally and professionally, and presenting themselves as someone who is kind and loving and fun and a musician and gracious and just love bombing, okay? The point is, I thought, my fiance was a certain person, and in reality, he was a completely different person. He was the opposite of who I thought I was marrying, okay? So, when he died, here's the key point. When he died is when I discovered all of the lies and the untruths of what he had previously said. It took me time to discover and uncover all of the lies because I was grieving. And it would be like a weird thing, like I'm going around the house, I'm cleaning something, and then all of a sudden I find these drugs. And I'm like, what? And then I'm going around the house, I'm cleaning something, and I find a burner phone with nasty text messages and all kinds of, craziness that was going on. And I had no idea that those things were even going on. But the text messages were proof that he had this particular lifestyle and connections and what he was doing. When I'm thinking that he was actually working, he was actually doing these evil things against me and against my business, when I was actually busting my butt for the benefit of both of us to grow, as a couple. So what I'm getting at is that sometimes people are not who they say they are, okay? That's the strong emphasis that I'm putting here, is that really be careful with who you connect with and who you choose to marry, because it can make a world of difference to your future. Now, when my fiance told me, "Oh, I got that for you, baby. I got it. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of it," I actually believed that he was going to do what he said he was going to do. So when he said, "Oh, I'll set all that up. I know how to set the business up as an LLC. I'll take care of all that for you, baby. Just give me the money for, what you want to do that, and I'll set it up." So here I am, like, you know, gathering my papers, handing it to him that has my social security number and my business number. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have all this stuff, and here's my quote fiance going, I'll take care of it, baby. Don't worry about that. I got you. So meanwhile, I'm turning it over to him thinking that these things are getting handled, and in reality, I'm looking for my color here. And in reality, these things were not getting handled because he was, let me just look at the color again, sorry. Went that way. All right, I'm gonna go this way. So I thought that he was for me in the sense of, you know, that when I handed him the business papers, I really thought that he was going to take those business papers, he was going to file the business papers, he was going to take the money that I gave him for the business. You get what I'm saying? So I thought it was handled. But because I was so busy with other day-to-day activities of running the household, running my business, dealing with clients, etc., and this was all like pre-COVID, okay? The point is, I, wasn't managing, oh, did he bring me back that piece of paper? You get what I'm saying? That's where I made the mistake. I just believed that when he said he was going to do something, he was actually going to do it. And in fact, I was sadly mistaken because I trusted somebody who didn't deserve to be trusted, okay? So what I'm getting at is the liabilities that have stacked up as a result of the decisions that I made by being involved with a person who really did not have my best interest at stake is the continual liability and impact on my life as I have to now deal with each of those things that he left vulnerable to me, and I have to deal with each of those items, and I have to find what the items are first, and then I have to deal with them. So what I'm getting at is, this is like, by me not dealing with it previously when it was going on, okay, because I was unaware, it's requiring me now to deal with the unknown things that were actually going on then. And when I'm looking at all these things to do, there's a part of me that looks at all the liability. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. How am I going to handle it? Okay. And so what I'm getting at is, that's where sometimes people lose their faith. They lose trust in God. They lose trust in Jesus. And they say, see, God's not present. And then they stop believing. And this is where I'm saying, no, this is just the beginning. This is where you have to just hunker down and really get into the word, really get into your prayer. And as I keep getting into my prayer and my Bible study and meditating on the word and letting the Lord show me about his commandments and judgments and precepts, etc. It is so foggy here, I'm so sorry. But as I keep focusing on what the Lord is training and teaching me, okay, and I keep learning anew, okay, what happens is I'm getting transformed because as I put the time and the investment, like a balance sheet, into the owner's equity, and the owner's equity in this point being, I'm putting my time and my energy into the Lord. Yes, those things of the past, those liabilities, those debts, those losses are still circumstances in my life, okay? And I'm working through those circumstances because the Lord, as I keep investing in him, in the Bible, in the word, the Lord is investing in me, and the Lord, I'm going to actually go back this other way again. The Lord is actually investing in me and saying, because you've done this time and invested in me in the Bible, I'm now going to unhook this problem that was held over you, and now I'm going to release it, and I'm going to take care of it and handle it. But you still have to make the phone call, meaning I have to make the phone call. I have to gather the paperwork. I have to take action. And this is where I think so many people think that God is not delivering to them, when in fact they're not doing any of the work. And this is where there is work required from you. In your belief, you're putting work in understanding who God is, reading the Bible, studying, praying, meditating, okay? Then God's going to give you a word of inspiration, a rhema word, and he's going to say, go gather your papers. And then I have to be obedient to hear that, and then gather my papers, and then make the phone call, and then go show up for the appointment, and then guess what? I got approved for a loan. So what I'm getting at is, even though my circumstances have been greatly impacted and challenged as a result of my fiance, who was an addict in active addiction, who was a narcissist, who was definitely out to harm and destroy me, okay? It might have appeared as though he was in love with me, but the truth is, people that love you are not trying to steal from you. They're not trying to destroy you. They're not trying to belittle you. Those are all signs of, the devil at work, okay? And so, therefore, we have to be very mindful of what's actually really going on. So, the repair process, the transition, okay? The transition is that the Lord is fixing my situations, okay? One at a time. But I have to still put in the work. I still have to be like, oh, I noticed that this security issue is an issue. Lord, I need your help to repair this security issue. And then when the Lord gives me a word of inspiration, I need to take action on that in that moment. That's where I'm saying many people blame God, that God's not, giving them what they want, but they haven't done any of the work to show God that they're even honoring him, and that they, people just think that God's a magic genie. He's not a magic genie. He still wants God wants a personal relationship with each and every person. So that means that you got to invest in the relationship with God first. Let him bless you. Let him heal you. Let him restore you. And he'll do that in his word. He'll take you from this passage to that passage. And I'm going to stop here. All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody.